For the first time in my life, I played the novelty in one and only Kalashnikov Sicilian variation. This is my favorite opening, and in this video I'm going to give you one free guide how to play this variation and also exactly when you reach this position on the board. Of course, there is plenty of variations how white can react on the Kalashnikov, but we'll see one of the most popular approaches. So Kalashnikov variation is coming from the e4, c5, knight c6, d4, takes, and now e5. So here there's plenty of moves, but now they played knight b5, of course. d6 is the main one. There is also one option to play here a6. I played a d6. My opponent developed the knight. Of course, here there is c4, bishop d3, a4, knight from 5 to c3, but this one is the most popular one. Then I played a6, kick this knight out of the way, knight a3, and now b5. Of course, here many strong grandmasters currently now plays the move bishop e6 with the idea of rook b8 later, which is something I also really recommend, but I think b5 is something that you can play on the club level, and maybe you can also surprise one of your international masters or grandmaster opponents, because if they're not prepared for this, this can be really tricky for them. Knight d5, and after knight g7, the only critical variation here is the move bishop d3, but this is not easy to figure out over the board. It's actually one of the most played moves is c4 and c3, because that looks very natural and very approachable as the normal position for white. And of course c4 is one of the main moves, but it's not good as the move bishop d3. So after the move c4, we take on d5, of course, and they can take three ways: with queen, with this pawn, and with the e pawn. The most popular take is this one, but people on a little bit advanced level than club level will always take with the e pawn. Many other people will take with the c pawn, where I have also one little trap to show you. In the game was e takes d5, but if they take c takes d5 after knight d4, many players will bring this knight here and try to trade it. Then we play the move, fantastic move, bishop g4. And many players will make the mistake and play the move f3, which immediately allows us the move queen to h4 check. On the g3, the game is completely after knight f3. White is thinking that he can sacrifice the queen in return getting your queen, but the problem is after bishop takes, pawn takes, and bishop takes rook, we are just simply exchange up, and that's also how I won many of my games online, and also won over the board game. So c takes d5, it's not really a problem, it's very equal game, and black is having decent position. E takes d5 could be challenging if you don't know how to handle it. Knight d4 is of course the main move you should play. C takes b5 is very reasonable for white. And now g6, this is the modern approach. In the past people used to play bishop d7, but g6 is the modern approach, and now we are coming closely to reach the novelty moment. Bishop d3, bishop g7, castle, and now here, as we know from the Banco Gambit, as we know from other variations where you're sacrificing a lot of pawns, it's usually good for white to take b takes a6 in many of these Kalashnikov variation. But in this case is inaccuracy, because now here, many players used to play here bishop takes a6 or queen b6 or f5, but e4, it's a decent move. The reason why this pawn sacrifice is decent is because when they take it, the queen h4 is coming along that way and with the tempo attacking the bishop and preparing a decent attack with bishops. In the game, my opponent actually played bishop c4, which is a really nice counter move, but if white still doesn't know how to react on the move queen h4, he can get in trouble. And after this move, I won the game in the next two moves. You would say how, but take a look. Bishop e3, bishop g4, completely ignoring the knight on d4. f3, it looks like a very logical move, but it's a big blunder, because you're not taking on f3. The whole point is to play bishop e5. And now, the point is, when they go h3, trying to block your way for the checkmate, because you had a simple way of the checkmate on h2, when they go h3, you're not even sacrificing the bishop on h3, you're going queen g3, infiltrating for the check, king f2, and bishop g3 will be made because king cannot run away since the knight is on e2. So they eliminate the knight. And then now we take on f3 with a bishop because we are now threatening checkmate. This will win the material because after rook takes, pawn takes, and still threatening the checkmate. If queen takes f3, we can simply take also here, then trade the queens, and then later take here. So after queen takes, bishop takes, wherever the king moves, take the queen, and then take on b2, simply winning more material. So my opponent instead brought the bishop back to f1, and now pause the video and finish the game. If you found the move f2, that's correct. That's a mate in 2 because bishop needs to take and then queen to h2. So we actually make the blockade interfering two bishops, the king, and that's a checkmate. In the game, I didn't see the mate. I played queen h2, king f2, take here. The game was still winning and I just simply win the material the same way I showed you earlier. The game is over. I missed the mate, but my opponent resigned here. Also want to show you that at this point here, if they take on e4, which is also challenging, queen h4 is a really challenging move, and now it's hard for them what to do, because if they move the bishop back, for example, bishop g4 anyway. And now if the f3 happens, we still got to move bishop e5, threatening the mate. h3 is the only move, again, and now again we play queen g3, still threatening the mate. So at this scenario, they need to take the bishop. Then after this point we have a check. And now the little problem is after we go here, this is not a checkmate because king will start running. So that's why it's important to bring the other rook to e8. And now to control this line. So even though they can try start to run like with this, like let's say this move, then we can collect on g2 and we are ready for the certain discovery on the e line. That's not working for them. So after this move, pretty much I think f4 is one of the moves that they could try. Here is important to find as black bishop f6 and then to go bishop h4. Because taking on f4 is simplifying, and of course they will welcomely take this and just bring the king back to g1, and now white is winning because you're just simple piece down and your attack is not working. So bishop f6, threatening bishop h4, mate. If g5, then bishop takes g5, pawn takes g5, and f6. Your intentions are just to open up the rooks for the checkmate, and that's actually where the game is over. So that's his nice variation. If they just move the queen somewhere like queen d2, here comes the perfection of one line. Knight f3 check, g takes f3, bishop e5. The only move is queen to h6 because you can deliver the checkmate, and actually bishop takes h2 is not a good move because of king g2. Suddenly you have many pieces under the attack and you don't have follow-up with a mate, like bishop h3 will fall apart after just king takes h2, and then your queen is not protected. If queen h3 I just take you, if bishop f3 I just take you, you don't have enough material for the attack. So that's why here the decent move instead of bishop h2 is bishop h5, believe it or not. And after that, they need to play the move f4 to stop your bishop. Now queen g4 check. Pretty much here, if you're fine with a draw, you can continue and just give a perpetual checks back and forward. But of course, we are much better and we would like to win this game. Now, it's important to draw back your bishop because it's under the attack, and after queen g5 just simply take on d3. So we have very good compensation for these pawns since the king is open and they have a lot of light square weaknesses. Apparently this pawn will fall down in the next few moves. Also their pieces are cramped, they can't develop. b2 is hanging, a6 is hanging, knight is bad, rooks are bad, and black is much better, as you see from the evaluation bar. So I wanted to show you in this video this amazing variation, and if you like this variation, the Kalashnikov variation, you can check out the description link. You can see the complete repertoire inside this. I put many novelty ideas, many interesting variations. You can take a look. Currently now it's at 50% only this month, and I think you're gonna like it very much. There is also introduction video inside, so you can see how much valuable variations you can face there. Thanks for watching, and I will make sure to record more Kalashnikov variations. Put in the comments, like the video, and see you in the next. Bye bye.